Hi everyone, Dumpster Dolly here. The week of Halloween is upon us. I just took it upon myself to decide to make a nice top 13 list for you guys. I'm going to list off the top 13 movies I think are best for watching around or on Halloween. Now remember, pretty much all of these are considered horror movies, and some of them are pretty gory. So if you don't like this kind of stuff, then these movies are probably not for you. These are my favorite movies, personally, ever. Well, my favorite horror movies, let's say. And every Halloween, I watch at least 5 to 7 of them, if not 10 or more. So let's get started with the list. Number 13, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. The reason I chose this movie for my list is because it was sort of an introduction to the shock horror genre, which was like, it's pretty commonplace today, which is the really, really gory stuff, like the really disturbed, completely crazy, gory, like out of this world Saw shit. Like this movie was basically an introduction to that because it was from the 70s, the early 70s, mind you. And this is one of my favorites just because it's a classic, let's say. I don't like the remake. I don't like the sequel or prequel to the remake. The whole sexy teenagers thing is kind of played out, but yeah, that's number 13. Number 12, The Woman in Black. I know this movie is like really new, like came out this year, but I actually really like it. The plot isn't super strong, but the way it's done makes up for it in heapfuls. Like it's a ghost movie, so obviously it's Halloweeny and spooky and stuff. But the decor and everything of that, I want to live in that house. I don't care how fucking haunted it is, or like. Yeah, I want everything in that house. So I think it's worth a watch. Just, if you want to see some really beautiful things. Well, if you're of the gothic persuasion like me, or if you just want to be scared if it scares you, which I don't know if it will or not. Number 11, Dead Silence. Yeah, this movie's pretty bad, overall, but I like to watch it around Halloween because it's just, like, it has those moments where it, like, sneaks up on you, and, like, dummies are always scary no matter what. Like, if you see a dummy just sitting in the corner going, like, that's pretty freaking scary, okay? I just scared myself on camera doing that. Like, yeah, the plot is kind of weak, and yeah, it's like, but, it's on the list because I do actually like it because of the scariness, and I want to be scared on Halloween. That's part of Halloween for me. Number 10, The Crow. Time for the stereotypes. Yes, I'm a goth, and yes, I'm listing The Crow as one of my top 13 Halloween movies to watch. But come on, man, this movie is just awesome in general. Like, it's awesome for normal people on Halloween, and it's awesome for us goths all the time. Can't rain all the time. Number 9, The Exorcist. Yes, of course, what is a Halloween list without The Exorcist? Actually, this movie is, like, not scary until, like, a certain point, and it's only scary for, like, a few minutes, but those few minutes they just make up for the whole movie, and the movie does have an actual plot, which is really rare in horror movies these days at least. And the whole entire movie itself just has that creepy vibe, that whole vibe that, like, it's just creepy, like it's an old movie and it's like everything's always quiet. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. And it also helps, like, everybody I know pretty much has told me that they've seen this movie when they were little and they, like, shit their pants, but I didn't see it until I was, like, 19. So I was never really, scared by it per se. I'm not easily scared nowadays, but it's a good movie to watch around Halloween in general. It just has that vibe, like I was saying. Number 8, Hellraiser, number 1. I actually just watched this movie last night. It's one of my all-time favorites. The sequels are okay too, but I'm just gonna go with the first one because in case you haven't seen it or you're not familiar with the series, go watch the first one. It's really gory, but it's captivating. Like, it's like gory in its own way. Like, it has the whole shock horror thing going for it that I was talking about with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It has it its own way in like an otherworldly sort of way. Like, then there's like melting skin, but it's like you could tell it's fake. You know what I mean? It's another personal horror genre favorite of mine because I love special effects makeup, and like this movie has like loads and loads of it. Even though if the plot is like it's good, but it's not in some ways. Like, you know, the ending is kind of weird, and like I don't like some aspects of it again, which is why it's like a little bit lower on the list, even though it's one of my favorites. But yeah, Hellraiser, number 8. Number 7, Halloween, the Rob Zombie version. Now, the only reason I didn't put the original Halloween, I know a lot of people are going to try to want to murder me over this, no Halloween pun intended, is because I watched the original Halloween like 5 or 6 times, and it just bores me. Like, it's just boring. I'm sorry, but like, it's boring. And I just love Rob Zombie's directing. Like, I love his music, I love his fashion sense, and I absolutely love the way he directs things. Like, he makes it a lot more captivating, in my opinion. I've seen a few of the Halloween sequels, like the original ones, but it still doesn't hold a candle, in my opinion, compared to the Rob Zombie version. That's just my opinion. Sorry. And, of course, it all happens around Halloween time, which is a perfect time to watch it, around Halloween. Number 6, The Ring. I know what you're thinking. Everybody I know says this movie is not scary, but I am freaking terrified of this movie. It probably because I first saw it when I was 12. I never really saw any like ghost horror movies. Like, I saw a couple bits and pieces of horror movies, but they were like really tame in comparison. So yeah, my friend like lent me the VHS tape, and if you've seen the movie, you know VHS tapes are really scary to me now. And I watched it with my mom and sister, and they were both like, "Oh yeah, it's boring. It's like a cop show, blah blah blah." And I was like, so yeah, I had nightmares for about 3 months after that. But that's a little bit of unneeded detail thrown in there for you guys. Anyways, it's pretty freaking scary. I still think it's scary to this day, because of the memories that I had of the nightmares as a kid, and because, you know, TVs are around you all the time, and they're just like staticky, and well, maybe not with HD TVs, but I still use a tube TV because I rock. And yeah, that's number 6. Number 5, An American Werewolf in London. Now, I'm not normally a fan of werewolf movies, but I'm going to make an exception for this one. I first saw this when I was, like, my parents were watching it on TV when I was about 15 or 16, and I saw it, like, I saw most of it, and then I actually watched it for myself, like, a couple months later, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, I really, like, it goes, with me, it goes vampires, zombies, werewolves. Like, I really, like, I'm not a big fan of them, sorry for the people who are, but, you know, they never really interested me, but this movie is, like, really, really good. It has, like, the whole horror comedy aspect to it, which I really love. Like, it's one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite genre. For its time, it had really, really, really impressive transformation scenes, and you know, it has the director of this movie was also the director for the Thriller video by Michael Jackson, so that shows you something. Like, that music video is probably like the most seen music video horror thing of all time. And yeah, I strongly suggest to watch it if you haven't seen it already. Number 4, The Shining. Again, like I was saying with The Exorcist, The Shining has this vibe, and with this movie I can call it the Kubrick vibe because it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. But yeah, it's like everything's quiet, and it's like the music is kind of like I think I sounded more like a whale than anything there. But if you've seen the movies, you know what I mean. I mean, even 2001: A Space Odyssey was kind of like that, and A Clockwork Orange, and all the other ones. Like, they just have this chilling vibe about them. Like, The Shining has that vibe about it. Like, when the door opens and the place fills with blood, it's like, and it's completely silent, and it shows the kid's face, and he's like, you know what I mean if you've seen The Shining, and sorry if that spoiled any of it for you guys who haven't seen it. And by the way, Shelley Duvall makes the best horrified faces ever. Like, that's also the cherry on top of that movie for me. Number 3, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Need I say more? I mean, what's Halloween without the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been watching this movie every Halloween for, like, the better part of 8 or 9 years. Nothing says Halloween like a transvestite wearing pearls and, you know, making his own blonde, shiny man of perfectionism. Post-spoiler alert. And it's a musical. I mean, I love musicals. I may or may not be a gay man. So yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show, definitely, definitely. Number 2, Nosferatu. Nosferatu. Get it? Well, that's not why it's number 2. The reason behind this is that I love vampires. I love old silent films. Like, silent films are just creepy, so, like, that adds on to the creepiness of this movie. And I'm kind of making it a tie with Dracula because, um, you know, like, it's, like, if you guys haven't heard, this basically is just a ripoff of Dracula, but they just changed it to a different name, and they changed his. They warped Nosferatu's image a little bit, but it's still really creepy. So I'd say Nosferatu slash Dracula as number 2 because, like, they're basically the same like premise, but they're both really really good and on their own separate levels. Da 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 da! House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie. Like I was saying with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I've been watching House of a Thousand Corpses not as long as I've been watching that, but I've seen it first when I was 16, I think, and I've absolutely fell in love with it. Like I was saying with Halloween, I love Rob Zombie's directing, and this is something of his own creation, so like it's completely off the top of his head. So like I don't know. Words can't describe how much I love this movie. I mean, there's Captain Spaulding, like a sadistic, like, southern clown who, without his makeup, looks a lot like my dad. There's Baby Firefly, Rob Zombie's real life wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, who's really hot, by the way. And her laugh is, like, amazing. And it's just so well done, and, like, the style, like, if this is, like, the style of movie you enjoy, which I don't know, just check it out if you enjoy it or not, but it's the style of movie that I enjoy the most, particularly. Yeah, that pretty much sums up how I feel about this movie. Love, love, love this movie. It's one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's definitely my favorite horror movie of all time, which is why it's number 1 on this list. This movie also takes place around Halloween as well, so there you go. It's a perfect Halloween-y vibe movie for you. So I guess that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching my list video, and I hope you guys check out the movies that I said, if you haven't seen them already. Bye, guys. Dr. Satan, maybe he lives next door to you.